Okay, today's training is going to be about internet leads. And we have a bunch of stuff to talk about in terms of Zillow and how that's working. But we're going to start with just talking about the difference between internet lead sources and other lead sources. So, um, as a company, we do provide some Zillow leads here or there. And one of the things that we need to really talk about as a group is kind of how do they differ from other lead sources, and how do you nurture them, and how do you convert them, because they are different. So with an internet lead source, you're going to get usually a lot more. So first off, what is an internet lead? Buying zip codes on things like realtor.com, Trulia, all those other, Zillow, obviously, just a part of Trulia, all those other lead sources, those internet websites, right? And then they usually, what happens is a client will be searching, a buyer will be searching on Zillow for a property, and get them. So they're looking in Clifton Park. Okay. So homes are going to pop up. They're going to click on a home that they're interested in. Of course, it's Beth. I love Beth. So this is what our listings look like, right? There's only one person here on the side, but sometimes it takes a little while to find one. I don't know if she advertises. This is an interesting one. Listing agents over here, and there's only 2 agents here. So they may have changed the format, but essentially what's going to happen is there's a place where they can contact listing agent, but then there's also a place that they can contact a buyer's agent, which, even though it says explicitly contact buyer's agent, and it tells them what's going to happen, most people don't think about this, right? So they're just going to say they see the property and they're like, hey, Amanda Stockholm's over there raising her hand. She goes, that's how I met Tori. True story. So they're just going to be like, hey, I like this house. I want more information on it. And they send off a little contact agent thing. They check a box, or if they don't check anyone, what's going to happen is Zillow's going to follow up with them and say, ask them a couple questions, and then say, do you want to be connected with an agent to answer your questions? And they're going to blast it out. They're going to call one of the 2 agents or one of the agents in the area that advertises, and try and make a live connection. Okay. Or if they click on somebody individually, they say, hey, look, I like Kevin. He's got 334 reviews. And they click on Kevin, the lead will go directly to Kevin. But in general, I mean, that's how Zillow works, but in general, that's how all of those other sources work. So what does that mean about the quality of the lead that you're getting? Sometimes you get lucky, right? Sometimes you'll get the lead that comes in and they just started looking and they are pre-qualified, or they're ready to get pre-qualified, and they don't have an agent yet. They just want to see the house, and you get in front of them, they like you, and they decide that they want to purchase, they want to continue looking with you because you've explained buyer's agency and all that stuff. And in a couple of, meetings with them, they decide to offer on something and they close. That's the ideal world, right? Or they want to buy that house that you showed them the first time. That's also a really nice world. But that's one type of client. That's one type of internet lead. Another type of internet lead is, again, they do all that, but they're really not ready yet. They're not qualified yet. They're not sure that they want to be. They're really uninformed about the process. And it's going to take some time to nurture them and convert them. Or you could get somebody who really just wants information about the property and they couldn't care less about an agent, and they don't want to work with agents. They hate agents and they'll never work with an agent ever, so don't even try. Those are out there too. Or you get somebody who's curious about their neighbor's house and really isn't interested at all. So point being, there's a diverse type of buyer out there or lead out there. And with Zillow leads, I usually say that there's about a 6-month incubation period. Okay, so Melissa and I were talking about this before. So it's going to take on average 6 months for any given lead to probably enter into contract. Some will be that nice fast buyer that is ready to go. Some are going to take a year or two. As Amanda and Jackie are finding out now, leads that they started working with a year or two ago are now starting to close. So it's not always hot and heavy, while some can be. Some of my first leads were nice hot and heavy ones, and I was like, great, I'll do Zillow forever. But a lot of them will close if you know how to nurture them. So that's what I want to talk about. What do you do when you get one of these leads? What's important to hook them? And how do you start nurturing them? And we need to talk about this because we have to talk about, as a company, how we're going to handle broker-generated lead sources, which are typically internet leads. There are some changes, and we just need to decide as a group, and we can take it off after we're done recording and whatnot, but we need to decide as a group how we're going to handle those and who wants them and where we're going with that. So if we go back into the inbox, so this is everybody should download the Premier Agent app for Zillow leads. If you don't have it, it is really helpful in terms of like it's similar to OpCity, things like that. So it keeps all of them in one place. And then if you have the app and I have the app, I can reassign things really easily. And that way you have back again. So yes, download the app. It'll be helpful. It's easy to reassign leads if we start changing the way that things are done, and say Kayla and I start working a lead and then pass them off to somebody. It makes it a lot easier. So the important things about internet leads: one, they want instant gratification. They are looking online. They're looking online when they're looking, and they want to know the answers to their questions right away. So is it important to pick up the phone right away? Yes, it absolutely is. That's why Zillow and a lot of places have changed the way that they do things, and they start picking up right away just to get them on the line. And then they're trying to pass people off as warm leads or live connections. And we can talk a little bit later about whether or not that's been a good system. But the point is, people want to know that somebody is there to answer their questions immediately. Now, does that mean that if you are at your daughter's gymnastics that you necessarily have to drop everything that you're doing and answer the phone and give them all the information that they need? No. You'll find that if you treat people with respect by listening and finding out their concerns and what they want to know, and then you tell them that you're human and you have a life and that you're not living in front of your computer, I would say 99% of people will respect that. So often what I do is pick up the phone if I get a call like that, step away, for 2 seconds to somewhere where it's quiet, answer the phone, find out the property that they're interested in, find out if they have any questions or just wanted to set up a showing. If it's a property I'm familiar with, great. If not, all I say to them is, so you caught me, I'm not in front of my computer right now, I'm not in front of the file. Can I call you back in 30 minutes or an hour? And can I get you that information? If they want to just schedule the showing, same thing. You caught me not in front of my file right now. I'd love to be able to check in on that for you. Can I get back to you in 30 minutes or an hour? I'll touch base with the sellers, find out their schedule, and see if we can. Sorry, that's interesting. I should have been able to record. I have an account. So anyway, again, find out, say, can I touch base with the seller, and I will confirm that appointment with you for you and get back to you in an hour, in 2 hours, in 3 hours when I'm back.